Hey everyone! Today I am making salmon salad for like a late lunch slash dinner. I don't know, I'm making food. And it's featuring salmon today. So, I like to cook a lot of my food. If you're familiar with my videos, you already know, on aluminum foil. So I'm going to, first of all, preheat the oven to 425. Now, this is one of those times where I look up recipes. I mean, I pretty much already have an idea what I'm doing with my salmon, but just to ensure like the temperature on the oven is correct. So I've read anywhere between 425 and 450. I'm gonna cook it at 425. Then I'm going to line the pan here with some foil. This is a disaster. All right. At some point, I'm going to get this. All right. And what I like to do is just crease it on those edges where it should be kind of creased. And I like to do that so that like any juices will stay contained in here, and that's one less thing I have to clean up later. And what I really like to do when doing the salmon is melt a whole bunch of butter here. And this is how I'm going to do that. I'm going to put this in the oven and let the butter melt. The butter. And then I'm going to get my salmon out. Now, some people don't like the skin on the salmon. I do. Also, if you're eating salmon, that's nice. It's just going everywhere. Just be aware that at times it can have bones in it. So, now I am going to rinse off my salmon. So we're going to move over here. Got a few dishes in my sink. And then I'm just going to be putting it on a clean plate once I've got it rinsed off. And I'm going to be keeping the bag handy because all of the packaging is just going to go right back into the bag and then straight out to the trash. All right, so and I did use cold water to rinse off that salmon. All right. So now we are going to check the pan with the butter that we put in the oven to get it melted. And there we've got that melted. We've got our salmon. I would also probably recommend more butter. And again, like I keep my butter on the counter, real butter on the counter all the time. Like it sets out all the time, but we go through it within a day or so. So I'm just going to add a little more butter here. And then I'm going to leave that chunk kind of off to the side. I'm going to add my seasoning here. So I'm using garlic salt and a very popular creole, whatever, type of seasoning that just works really good on salmon and fish in general. And then I am going to take my bare hands, and really what I want to do is get a lot of that. And again, this pan is hot, so you're going to be careful if you're doing this. I really just want to get a lot of that butter and those flavors on top of this salmon. And then that pat of butter, I'm actually going to just leave underneath it. And all right, so that's pretty much ready. I'm going to obviously wash my hands now again. I'm thinking that's just part of the scale because it's got, oh, okay, yeah. All right. Oh, what the heck? Okay, so the salmon is ready to be put into the oven. I am just going to let the oven finish preheating. And that should be ready very soon. Oh, and I'm glad I'm waiting because I do want to add some fresh chopped onion to the top of it so that when it cooks, it hopefully just kind of really brings out a lot of like oniony flavor to the salmon, as well as some green onion or scalloped onion. I'm not sure. People have different names for these. So I'm going to cut that part off, and I really like the white part of these onions. And so be careful if you do this. I'm just cutting it so that it's into fours, pretty much. Not perfect. And then I'm going to cut some from up here. Now, I've never done this before. This idea actually just came to me earlier, and I was like, that sounds really good. So obviously, if you don't want to add green onion or red onion or scalloped onions, whatever those are called, don't. It's clearly your choice. Or if you maybe have a different vegetable, treat it like a pizza, load it up. No, I'm kidding, but who knows? I mean, and this is why I enjoy cooking, is because you can really do whatever you want for the most part. And, you know, if you don't like it, that's okay. You know what to do different next time. And if you do like it, well, good. You know, you found something that works. So I highly encourage playing with the food. All right. Now, I am going to be having a salad as well, so I'm going to cut up just a few more of the onions to go with that salad. They what?
She gave us another one of the things.
Oh, so we have a total of 3?
Yes, that's 9.
Oh.
That's a lot.
It's pretty good, though. But you have to buy a drink, which is okay. Javier doesn't like salmon, so he had Popeyes. Right, Javier?
Yeah.
I mean, so you don't like salmon, or you kind of like it, or no?
The only fish I like is tilapia.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
Alright, I'll be on.
Okay. All right. So just kind of chopping up that for the salad. Okay, our oven is preheated. Let's get that salmon put in. And it's pretty much being cooked on the middle rack. We're going to cook it for 12 minutes. And then we are going to check it. And in the meantime, I'm going to be getting my salad ready. Which I had already cut some lettuce the other day. What am I doing? Trying to pull off the cover, which is already off. But I'm just making these a little bit smaller. These leaves of lettuce. So while the salmon is cooking is a good time to get whatever side you're going to be having with your salmon ready. And at this point, it looks like I'm just going to eat all the lettuce. So we've got lettuce, we've got some red pepper, we have lettuce, we have red onion and green onion. I also have some pre-cut tomato I'm going to be adding, as well as a little bit more. I also thought about topping the salmon with some tomato. I just don't think I would like how that would end up being cooked in the oven, so I decided against it. I'm also adding a ton of cheese. And I don't like a really cold salad, so this actually works really well for my salad to kind of warm up. And a few banana peppers. And I really feel like I'm forgetting something. Bacon. Now I have some bacon that I've saved from breakfast, probably a couple of days ago, that I've made. And I'm going to use that. The white stuff on it is just the lard from the bacon, and that's okay. It just makes the bacon stick together a little bit. And that's all right. I have this horrible looking avocado that I'm going to attempt to see if anything, just because I love avocado and it's such a shame when it goes to waste. And it's not like I want to run to the store and buy one right now. Right, added just a little bit of that avocado, really not too much. And salt and pepper. Okay, so we've got the salad ready, a mess that needs to be cleaned up, and we've got 8 minutes on our salmon. So I just want to show you all how that is looking in there. Smells really good. Okay, so I am just going to clean up while I wait for the salmon. All right, 4 minutes left on the salmon. Okay. So it's almost done there. Again, if you have a meat thermometer, I highly suggest temping the meat. And salmon does need to be cooked to an internal temperature of 145. So something else that I like to do with my salmon when it's cooking, I don't know if anybody else does this, but I really like to get it like to have a certain look on top. And usually I accomplish that by just flipping it over. So let me show you what I'm talking about. And you're going to see, whoa, oh, my eyes are burning. Those onions must be hot. Wow. Like seriously taking out of the oven. Like, whoa. But also, so like something I want to point out, this seasoning is starting to burn. That's not necessarily a good thing when you're cooking because you don't want your food to end up tasting burnt. Man, that crust looks so good. Nice golden brown. I'm going to flip my salmon. I know it's probably a weird thing. I don't know how many people do this. I'd be very curious to know. But as you can see, it is kind of flaking apart there. But again, I'm flipping it. And so be careful when you flip, or if you flip your salmon. You don't have to. It's just something I like to do. So I'm going to flip it and leave it in. We've got 2 minutes left. I may leave it in there for a little longer than that. And I am like, seriously, I have a tear rolling down my cheek from the onions. Like, ooh, this will be a very interesting salmon. One other thing I wanted to let everyone know. So when using one of these to check your food, I'm gonna just wipe my tears really quick. It's so weird. I don't know why I did that. It had to be the onions. Anyway, plus the other day when I was cutting that onion, it was like so powerful. It was starting to make me teary. So anyway, when you are temping your meat, your food, this happened the last time I cooked salmon, so I learned. It wasn't temping at the right temperature, and I was very confused because it should have been. It had been in the oven forever, and I knew it was flaking with the fork, but it just wasn't temping at the correct temperature. Well, the reason is because it was on Celsius. My hair's a mess right there, and not Fahrenheit. So if you're like, why isn't this temping? What's going on? Make sure that the degree that you're wanting to read it in is actually what it's set for. So just so everybody else avoids my mistakes. So that was the timer for the salmon. And remember, we just flipped it over. So let's see what that side is. It looks like a mess because that's what I'm doing. Okay, so with it being the 12 minutes, 14, I can't remember, whatever we cooked it for, I'm now going to temp it. And whenever you're temping something, it is very important to go in at a slight angle. You don't want to go straight down. You want to get it like in the middle of the food. So you want to do one of these to where you're just, say this is the middle of the salmon, you want to get it right in there. So it's only temping at 133. So that tells me we need to leave it in there. I'm going to go with another 5 minutes. And one thing you can do, if your spice issue is bothering you, just grab another foil and you can butter that one, or you should have enough residual butter from this one or on the salmon itself. But you can just lay a new piece of foil down if you're bothered by that situation. All right, so timer for 5 minutes. And so even on the timing of how long the salmon should take, I've gotten anywhere from 12 to 20 minutes. So again, this is where I research a few different recipes or ideas, and then I just go about creating my own or making my own. So. If we're asking what kind of dressing I'm going to have on the salad, it will probably be Thousand Island on one half and Caesar on the other half. So both. I like variety. And thank you guys for watching. I get a little impatient when I'm cooking, and that's one of the reasons I clean as I go because it helps distract from the wait time. Or my impatience. Me being impatient, I suppose. 1 minute left, and I'm hoping that it is good to go and ready and temping where it needs to temp. Let me grab a fork because, again, you can test it. It should just kind of flake apart with a fork. The waiting game. So there we go. So I am now getting a temp of, is that, well, that's not right. Let me see if I can get it to go towards you guys. There we go. So we've got 150, 151. Let me see if I can show you guys quick enough. So this is ready. And then again, they say when you can just flake it with a fork. So see how it's just coming apart there. I don't want to do that to my whole salmon, although it is just going to go onto a salad anyway. But yep, definitely good to go. And again, I just like to temp it in a few different areas to ensure that it is really well cooked. I don't do sushi, so I'm not trying to eat raw salmon. Now we're going to take a look at the skin here. Nice golden brown here. Really like that. Hope it's going to be very crispy. I like crisp skin. Doesn't feel like it's going to be too crispy. And look, that just pulls apart awesome. Oh my gosh. So I'm going to just set my salmon on a plate to cool down. One of the best parts, I'm sure you guys all know, one of my probably more favorite parts, is when cleanup is easy. And obviously if you do this, make sure the foil is still not hot, because you don't want to put hot foil in a trash. But look at that. And we have salmon that will be eaten with the salad here. Well, let me know what you guys think. If you guys like salmon, if you have other ideas to cook it, other ways to cook it, on a grill would be awesome as well. Again, I was shooting for just the most convenient, easiest way to cook it and clean up after it. So, all right, thanks everyone for watching.